Hello everyone. So this is the revelation of the plan that the dark agents use to try and destroy those that were sent to this spiritual battle in defense of what is the truth. Okay, so it's beginning by we say, if you are going through a really dark time with a lot of chaos and nobody's giving you proper answers about what's really happened or things like this, I want you to know your life is not a random story. It's a divine blueprint. And you were born with an assignment, a spiritual code wrapped in human form. You were wired to shift the entire atmosphere of your bloodline and leave a spiritual footprint that will ripple across the generations, your generations, okay? Because you're going to survive. Now, your spirit craves raw, unfiltered truth. You are not lukewarm, and there's no going back, okay? Your journey is sacred, and you're not to return to the dark agents. Now, what do I have here? I think I'll start with them. The dark agents always have a plan. Let me find it. This might be the start here. So the dark agents, they're called narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths. They relish in the ability to twist your mind and toy with your emotions because they want you to question your worth. They thought they held all the power because of all they did to you, but you can quietly untangle yourself from their web. Now, I want to start. They want to trap you in their cycle of manipulation, but they don't consider the possibility of you leaving for good. It's so difficult, I understand. I know you love them so much. They can never face the truth. Now, so it is, let me see, let me get it. It is a bewildering reality, watching your reputation crumble, friends growing distance, colleagues eyeing you with suspicion, all the while someone is slandering in the shadows, orchestrating your social destruction with surgical precision. The Agents of the Darkness smear campaign is one of the most devastating psychological weapons in existence. We are in a spiritual battle. This insidious form of character assassination is devastatingly effective, and you are going to learn how to protect yourself when someone makes destroying you their personal mission. The narcissistic smear campaign is meticulously executed, deliberate, coordinated effort to destroy your credibility, reputation, and support system. It is the most socially sophisticated form of abuse in the dark agent's arsenal, combining psychological insight with strategic character assassination to silence you and prevent exposure of the nature of the dark agents. Unlike more direct forms of abuse like verbal attacks or physical intimidation, the smear campaign operates in the shadows. Its power is precisely in its invisibility to the target. That's you. You'll always be the target, okay? By the time you realize what's happening, significant damage has already been done over a long period of time. Your attempts to correct the record or protestations of innocent often only reinforce the narrative that they spread about you. It is a psychological trap of devastating effectiveness. The dark agent's sense of self is fundamentally unstable. They have like this grandiosity about themselves. They feel entitled, and they have a self-image, and they like to be thought of as, either the victim or whatever. Okay, so the smear campaign isn't merely revenge. This is an existential defense mechanism to discredit you before you can expose them. They have to destroy you to prove that you never knew them at all. I know it's sad, but you're going to be able to accept it, alright? Typically, the narcissist, the dark agent, begins their smear campaign long before you realize there's anything problematic in the relationship. They will be spreading their narrative, planting seeds of doubt about your sanity, your stability, your reliability, while simultaneously positioning themselves as concerned or victimized. This groundwork is spread far and wide to ensure that if you do eventually speak out about their behavior, the social context has already been prepared to dismiss your claims. Their tactics employed follow remarkably consistent patterns. Learn it. Phase 1 is priming. This is where they prepare the emotional environment by highlighting the target's flaws and instabilities while the relationship between you seems intact. They confide about how worried they are about you being so emotional and how they're trying to be supportive and how difficult it is. This establishes the dark agents as compassionate in people's eyes to create a framework through which everyone will interpret, ensuring that they have a predisposed view that the target, you, is unstable, and the narcissist, the dark agent, is long-suffering. Phase 2 is strategic information control. This is where they share carefully edited versions of conflicts that edit out their provocations and highlight your reactions. Oh, you won't believe what they said when I simply asked, deliberately omitting the preceding hours of passive-aggressive behavior designed to provoke an emotional response. This selective disclosure creates a distorted reality where the target is seen as unreasonable and the dark agent's behavior remains invisible. Phase 3, the flying monkeys. Individuals get unwittingly recruited to monitor, report on, or directly attack the target on the dark agent's behalf. These seem to be people who believe they are helping someone in trouble rather than participating in psychological abuse. The dark agent will say something like, "I'm so worried about their mental health." These triangulated communications create a surveillance network that serves multiple purposes and provides the narcissist with ongoing information about the target, your activities, your emotional state. This extends the reach of their dark agent's control after direct contact has ended and continues the social isolation process by making the target feel watched and judged by formerly trusted connections, friends, your favourite auntie. The most insidious primary effect is get in first, to give greater weight to the information people hear first about the target, to inform an initial impression about any situation the narcissist conjures up. Dark agents. It filters through an already existing framework that they primed. Step 1. The narcissist instinctively understands that controlling the narrative early is crucial. By the time you realize what's happening and attempt to correct the record, the cognitive foundations have already been laid. Additionally, smear campaigns exploits our natural response to perceived vulnerability. When the narcissist shares what appears to be sensitive information about the target under the guise of concern, people's protective instincts activate and they want to help. The dark agent says, I wouldn't normally share this, but I'm very worried, and go into the narrative. The most sophisticated smear campaigns is the leverage called reversed victimization. The narcissist positions themselves as the victim of the very behavior they are engaging in. Is spreading horrible lies about me. This projection serves as both a psychological defense mechanism and the strategic preemptive strike. If the target later attempts to clarify what is happening, it will appear to be exactly as the narcissist predicted, reinforcing the narcissist's narrative. The psychological impact of being targeted by a smear campaign cannot be overstated. Beyond the obvious external consequences of damaged relationships, reputation, victims experience profound internal effects that persist long after the active campaign ends. It is such a disorientating experience, having your lived reality contradicted and multiple people treating you as vindictive or delusional or unstable. This distortion has you naturally questioning your own perception and memory and connects to the deeper phenomenon called identity erosion. The gradual disintegration of your sense of self under contradiction leads to anxiety and a loss of self-trust. The isolation that results from a successful smear campaign creates compounded traumatization, but don't you worry, because there is this amazing post-traumatic survival stage that you'll go through and you will grow. Okay, you're going to learn. The primary trauma is the narcissist themselves. It is the hell of a ride. And then the narcissistic abuse is compounded by the secondary trauma of disbelief and abandonment, leading to difficulty in trusting others. It's okay. You're going to be okay. You only need to trust yourself. You need to believe in yourself. You need to trust God. You have guardian angels. There is a lot going on in the spiritual realm, and you must center yourself into that. Direct confrontation can't be done. It backfires because the dark agents points at you and go like, see, look at them. I told you they were crazy. Told you she was crazy. I know who you are. Always resist the urge to defend yourself passionately in any form, because it reinforces the narcissist's portrayal of you as unstable. Instead, document. Maintain records of interactions. Call the police. I didn't. But I advise it, because then it's a record, an official record. Inconsistencies in the narcissist narrative, tangible evidence that contradicts their claims. If I molested my grandchild, why didn't you go to the police about it? It's a serious crime. Without detailed accusations about the narcissist, share your experience in terms of observational patterns and emotional responses. I'm trying to understand it is okay to state. You can say, I'm trying to understand it. Can you explain it to me? They still won't. And you must remove your emotional fuel from a conversation with the narcissist, because they'll be winding you. They want that emotional fuel because it charges them up and they get a rush of it. So you are to integrate your experience into your broader life narrative. You acknowledge the impact, but you don't allow it to define your identity or your future, because you have gained enhanced empathy and your psychological sophistication has deepened. Like, you are professional, kind of like first-hand experience now, guys. Now, your ability to identify authentic connections has just sort of like amped up. And the day will come and you will just not give a rat's balls about what people care about these lies, okay? You just won't care anymore. You will live your life, okay? So now that we get expanded emotional intelligence out of this, deeper self-knowledge, hard-won wisdom about human behavior. And I want to jump forward. No, I don't. I've gone too far. Here's my marker. And I think that looks like I know that I've got another marker here for you. Maybe it's here. So, super empath, highly sensitive people, Sigmas, INFJs, Earth Angels. It's not simply that you're just kind and over-emotional, okay? It's that you have an extraordinary capacity for emotional depth, intuitive intelligence, and resilience. And the first thing they hit is your intuition. They'll start when you're little. You'll get an intuitive hit and they'll say, what rubbish. But you will be correct. They try to make you not listen and always doubt and give them a second chance. That's a real big thing that they go for. No, that didn't happen like you thought. Whatever. Okay? They'll try all that. But you are to keep strong on your own psyche. When your psyche reveals anything to you, store that information and freaking guard yourself. Get really good at not giving the benefit of the doubt. Put it that way. Let's say that. Because we don't feel emotions. We absorb emotions, all right? And it's we're not the same, all right? I want you to understand this part. So we're highly sensitive and we pick up on tones, body languages, intentions, and it's all going in. Everything is recorded in our soul. We've taken note of everything, even when it's in an extremely highly stressful situation with a lot of activity going all around you where you think that you can't even focus. Don't you worry. It's all being compiled, and you are to become consciously aware of them, and you will. It will happen. So you are incredibly compassionate and generous, and frequently the first to sense danger, even if you don't act on it immediately. And this level of awareness is a double-edged sword, because your depth and your authenticity and capacity for love that isn't transactional provokes the agents of the darkness, whose identity is hollow and maintained by their illusions. Empaths often give the benefit of doubt, rationalize those behaviors, and try to fix things because we think that there's been a mistake, or that we just need to talk about it and it'll be all sorted out. That's not their game. Okay. Oops. So, yeah, clarity will come. It's all going on. I would say the narcissist is rigid, but the super empath is adaptable, and it's your adaptability that leads to transformation. When you finally see through the mask, you become unstoppable. You no longer betray yourself, and that moment changes everything. It's the beginning of your exit. You feel deeply, you see clearly, you suffer quietly. Self-betrayal is when you don't speak up for yourself, when you don't express your needs, and when you don't honor your true feelings. So you've got to trust yourself, you've got to trust your intuition. Who do you talk to? You talk to Jesus. You tell Jesus the whole lot. You tell him the whole story. Now, you were built to wake up. So the relationship is not just emotionally volatile between us and the dark agents. It is psychological. So there's a deep inner conflict between illusion and truth, between ego and essence, between control and connection. So we think everyone's like us. That's our first fault. And we run around in this world just assuming that everyone's exactly the same. And that's because we came from a place where it was, but down here it's not. Okay. Now, so it's about the activation. Okay, so what I've written here is that the dark agents and the light workers, let's just put it like that, they're attracted to each other to activate each other, bringing it out, because there is a battle going on. Okay, it's a real life spiritual battle, and Great Spirit Chief Father, he wants to know what people's choices are, and he's looking to see if you're an agent of the darkness walking around maybe holding a Bible, or it doesn't matter, you could be trying to do whatever you want, but he wants to look and see the choices in your heart. Now, some people are forced to do some really terrible things and literally against their heart, and you know what? You're not a dark agent just because you were forced to do something that was traumatic to you. You're not a dark agent because your heart didn't make that choice. Do you understand? So people who are highly sensitive, empathic, INFJs, this sort of thing, inside our starlight in our heart is divine. We've got a divine star inside us. So people think that they co-create with reality by making vision boards and sort of like manipulating outcomes, but we have a direct connection to Source. We have a direct connection to the cosmos. That's why astrology is important. You must learn, you must find your birth chart, and you must learn to understand where your lessons are. That'll be in your South Node. And also what you're supposed to develop more, that will be in your North Node. So the difference with us is we evolve, right? But the dark agent just stays the same. And that is sad, especially when they're like 80. and then they start rolling the same pattern again. It's beyond, you start to think, are you real? And they're not. Okay, they're not. They've lost real. They're only working in their pattern. They've made their choice. Something's happened. I don't know. It's not my job to do that. My job is to help you. Now, so when you understand the pattern, that's when you're free. And freedom is like an angel having wings. You are free. You're free forever because you're liberated from that dark agent. And you've got all that knowledge they taught you. People say they're your teacher. They did. They taught you black magic. They taught you all these horrible, wicked things. And you were just like, I don't know. You're just so innocent you didn't even know. And all of a sudden, now you do. And yeah, you know. So now you know you don't go back. You can't. There's no going back. There is no going back. So, the person who loves you doesn't harm you, alright? They can't be nice to your face or give you big hugs or give you presents and then slander you all over the place or secretly in their heart hate you to pieces. It doesn't work like that, alright? And you've got to be able to see through people, alright? Now, as soon as you do, it's like this fog just like clears your mind. And it's usually when your super empath comes online. So then your purpose begins. Because we're here, we have an assignment. And the first part of the assignment is learning every horrible thing about these people and surviving it. That's part 1. And then part 2 is living your purpose. And there's something about your pain is your purpose, is what they're saying. And your pain is your purpose. Everything that they taught you, I can now point out and be aware of and save as many of you as I can. And that's my intention. My intention is to save the world. It's always been my intention. And I remember when I was little and I watched Miss World and Miss Universe when I was a kid. And I wanted to be Miss World and Miss Universe because I wanted to do what those people wanted to do. I wanted to save the children, feed the hungry, stop the wars, all this sort of stuff. And you can imagine my disappointment when I learned that all they did was walk around in bikinis and cut red ribbon for a year on buildings that were built. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to worry about doing that anymore, but I still wanted to do it. I just didn't want to do it from TV. You know what I'm saying? So they take it and they distort it. You are still Miss World. You are still Miss Universe. You are still here to complete your assignment, and you must stay. You don't listen when the voices tell you to end your life. That is the voice of the darkness. The voice of the Lord will tell you to be still and to share with Him how you feel. Okay? Saving grace is for everyone. And if a narcissist can change their mind or change their heart, it has to be. It has to be a change of heart. It's possible. I hope. I don't know if it's really possible, but I do see some changes, like some prison people who've had near-death experiences, and had some quite traumatic afterlife experience and then came back, they changed. So there is always a possibility, but we concentrate on our assignment, and our assignment is to live through it first. Call on God. You've got more than 3 prayers. You can pray 27 times a day. You can talk to Him morning, noon, and night. I love you all very much, and let's get this revolution happening. Ka kite.